Hey, this is Lindsay T, Lady Engineer, and I just want to quickly talk about product development by reviewing the new hot email service, Hey. Hey is coming to us by the 37 Signals team that created a popular project management tool, Basecamp. Now, I'm a big fan of these guys. They have been built a successful company without taking on venture capital, and their founders have been vociferous about how venture capital can be terrible for startups. That's for another conversation. But let's talk about Hey. Hey is this new email service that they started thinking about designing in mid 2018. They didn't launch it until 2020. So let's think about that. Anywhere from 18 to 24 months of product development to get something market ready and out the door. The reason I want to look at what Hey has done and the lessons that they shared on their product development journey is because I think a lot of founders, particularly non-technical founders, don't really understand how long it can take to develop a market-ready product. So here's the first thing that these guys say about Hey. First they say is inventing a product from absolute scratch is challenging, and I cannot agree more. I see so many product managers trying to help startups that are building products from scratch, and the reality is most product managers don't even have experience developing anything from scratch. They built all their experience refining a product that already existed. So building a product from scratch is incredibly challenging. The other thing that I like that the Hey team did and talks about in how they built their product is that they spent a lot of time looking at existing processes and existing email applications inside their company. They not only just interviewed people, and then they not only observed the effects of a bad email organization on their company. Those are two research activities I highly encourage for new founders. But they also looked at documents. They analyzed actual email threads. And I can only imagine they printed out email threads and marked up all the data that appears there and the series of conversations that were in there. Now, they probably don't know this, but there is a field, the professor that I reported to at grad school talks about this. He wrote the book, Document Engineering. It's the idea that we can learn a lot about what a product should be by the documents and exchange of information that happen in the process that we're trying to support. So that's my second thing, is that they not only included interviews and observation, but they also included document engineering and document research into their product development process. Let me just look at my notes real quick. All right. They also talk about spending a few months prototyping and exploring a lot of different examples, and they found none of it really works. So that's another warning to founders that are just starting out, anyone that's early on in their technology development, is that product development takes a lot of prototyping. So you don't want to have to spend a lot of money to come up with other different variations only to figure out that none of those variations work. So there's lots and lots of unknowns in the product development process, and you want to keep prototyping very, very cheap. And you have to be open. The other thing, again, I think I put this in the beginning or said this in the beginning, but they started this process in May 2018, and they didn't really end up building the technology until halfway through 2019. Okay, so they spent a lot of time exploring the idea in cheap ways before building the technology. Because once you build the technology, you code and you develop the software, it is a lot harder to take ideas back and to be flexible. Okay? Um, the final fifth piece that I learned in the development of Hey is that they talked about how it took several months leading up to the launch to actually build the other features needed to make this a public product. So they spent a lot of months prototyping just that beginning piece, not the beginning piece, the middle piece, the most important piece, like how the inbox threading was actually going to work, the different folders, different reminders, and how that all was going to work. They prototyped that. Then they built that, make sure it works, get all the bugs out, and it wasn't until the end that they added all the other things that would make this publicly accessible. I'm assuming like your user profile, your user settings, all the security, login, sign up. So a lot of times I see entrepreneurs finding design and development partners to help them, and some of the first things that they get from those design and development partners are like login and sign up designs or pages. And that's just not as useful as figuring out the core of the technology, the core of the unique value proposition. So just to sum it up, Hey is the new hot email inbox platform, gaining lots and lots of popularity, comes from the company behind Basecamp. These guys have never taken on funding. They're very anti-funding. They think it destroys startups, but you can learn a lot from their article on like the evolution of Hey. Most importantly, being inventing a product from scratch is hard. Looking at how people actually do things like the document engineering is an important piece in your upfront customer research. You need to plan on spending a few months prototyping and exploring different approaches and be prepared. Be open that none of them really will work, or that be open that it's not going to be what you originally decided. Again, they started in May, and they didn't, in 2018, they didn't start coding till halfway through 2019. So do not rush to develop software products too quickly. And finally, it takes several months to build all the extra capabilities to make your product publicly accessible. All those extra user profile, login, sign up, security. So plan that into your budget. All right, guys, this is Lindsay T, Lady Engineer. I hope you find this valuable. Comment, like, subscribe. Talk to you later.